Hi, and welcome to Chamber Chat. You're tuned into an Inside Lowell podcast brought to you in part by Washington Savings Bank. Make the switch now to Washington Savings Bank. WellPoint. At WellPoint, your whole health is their whole point. TMI Properties. From affordable to luxurious, apartments for all. Boston North Company. Business solutions for restaurant and retail. Mahoney Oil. Providing warmth and protection since 1925. Francis E. Preventure Insurance, the agency Greater Lowell trusts, and by the Massachusetts Pirates, bringing the action and excitement of arena football to the Mill City. And now time for another Inside Lowell podcast. Inside Lowell, if Lowell is your home, this is your place. I'm very excited to have our guests on with us today. I'm your host, Danielle McFadden. I'm the CEO here of the Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. And this week, we are tuning in to an incredibly insightful conversation with Erin Rennell, principal and founder of Rennell Capital Group. Also my awesome coffee mug that you will definitely see me toting around downtown Lowell, because if you know me, you know I love coffee. We also have his team members with us, Jill Fitzpatrick and Sara Cohen. Rennell Capital Group was founded in 2016 by Erin Rennell as an elite M.E.P consulting firm. Over the past 8 years, can you believe I'm saying 8 years?
Crazy, 8 years, yes.
It's incredible. RCG has brought value and strategic insight to the construction industry. In addition to M.E.P consulting, RCG has expanded into other areas of expertise, including real estate investing and business advisory and development. RCG's top-notch experience empowers their clients to supplement their resources and reduce overhead. These empowerments, paired with a full-scale analysis of calculated purchases and sales, creates buzz throughout the greater Lowell area and beyond. Eric and his team are not only leading cutting-edge entrepreneurs, but also very generous philanthropists. RCG is involved with many local community organizations, including, but not limited to, the Somerville Homeless Coalition, Central Catholic, I'm like, that doesn't make sense, Central Catholic High School, which you have a connection to,
Yes.
and our very own Greater Lowell Chamber of Commerce. So now I'm here to introduce the team over here. So we have Erin Rennell. He graduated from Wentworth Institute of Technology with a BS degree in construction management. He balances all of the risk-reward strategies and manages contracts and finances for RCG. We have Jill Fitzpatrick, University of Southern California graduate, real estate agent and acquisitions manager for RCG, and who has won many awards in her field. This sounds really cool. I want to learn more about this. The Who's Who Top New England Realtor. And Sara Cohen, an Ithaca College graduate, project manager for RCG, and very experienced in planning and organizational development, an optimal skill for a project manager here at RCG. And dare I say, the creator of most of this over here, this wonderful packet here that I have in front of me. So we're going to kick it off with Eric. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for the great introduction, and thank you for having us here.
Oh, so happy to have you all here. Let's expand a little bit on the introduction. Can you tell us what you believe makes RCG so special and what has allowed you to be where you are today?
Yeah, well, thank you. So most importantly, at RCG, we have a good time. We have fun. We communicate. We love what we do. We have over 25 plus years experience within the construction and real estate industry. Over 10 plus million worth of managed assets.
Wow.
And properties and developments. And then our expansion into the real estate market was kind of seamless and very growth orientated for lots of profitability and getting everyone involved. So
when you look back at the past 8 years, are you kind of like astounded at what you've been able to build with your team?
Yeah, it's been pretty rewarding. We started off pretty small, strategic growth over the years, and little by little, we've added and specialized in a couple more fields, and it's been great.
That's excellent. What types of investors does RCG strive to connect and work with, and why should they invest with you?
Yeah. So the beauty of what we do is we have all different types of people, experienced real estate investors that have come to us and invested with Rennell Capital. We have people who have never thought of or even
Interesting.
talked about real estate investing, which makes it even more intriguing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of everything, and we're very happy that all of our partners are with us and part of our team.
And why should they invest with you versus somebody else?
Yeah, so I mean, we're very cutting edge. We have lots of great people within our team. Each one of us knows our expertise, and yeah, it's a great place to have fun, develop relationships, and yeah, exciting.
And if you guys are as thorough as you are with the kind of the preparation for the podcast, I mean, you must be an excellent and a company to work with, invest with.
Yeah, exciting.
It's great. So Jill,
Yeah,
I want to dive a little bit into the Who's Who Realtor Award.
sure.
And then, you're the acquisition manager for RCG. So how do you identify properties with potential for significant growth?
All right. So, whenever we're talking about properties for significant growth, obviously the first thing as a realtor that I do is I look at the days on market. After I look at the days on market, then I start, the property's been on the market for a while. It usually means there's an issue with it, right? And those issues could be the price, could be the layout, the condition, or the location. And with the exception of the location, all of those other factors are simply just opportunity for us, right? That's when we want to swoop in, we want to get that property, and we want to put our stamp on it and then get it back out to the public, right? Let somebody else own it and enjoy it. So I then, after I look at the days on market, I look at the location. So the location is one of the most important factors, obviously, because we're not picking up the house and we're not going to move it. So if the location doesn't work, it's, I'm not going to recommend the property. I'm going to say that this probably isn't going to get us to where we need to be in order to get our investors what they need, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, we want to get that property back to the public, but our investors are our main goal here. We want to get them their money back, and we want to give them some money in their pocket. Then we want to give them the most that we can get.
And a big return on their investment.
Big return on their investment, right? That's our main goal here. So, so I say no. And usually everybody listens to me and they say, good job, right? That's what we want to say. So the next consideration, obviously, there's a current square footage in comparison to price, what they're asking for it. We can negotiate price. We can add on for square footage as long as we have a good lot size, right? So those are things. When we look at the lot size and we're looking at the square footage, that's when we're deciding if this is going to be a redevelopment project where we're going to be adding on to it, or a rehab project where we're just going to take the condition of it and completely change it and make it something beautiful. So after that, the last thing I look at are the pictures. They're actually the least important part of my whole process when in this particular situation, right? Because all of those things on the interior, this company can change, right? We're super good at it, right? We love taking a house and you see it one way, and the next time that person looks at it, they don't recognize it anymore. They think they're at a different address. Okay, so least important. Obviously, I look at them, but it's the least important part. Anything else, like I said, we can change the condition, we can change the layout, we can change the curb appeal. All of that can be done. So I use all those factors and I look at the potential resale value after we put our stamp on it and we make it up to our RCG standards. If it passes all that, all of my criteria, then it goes to Eric.
Yep.
And then Eric has to look at it and say yes or no.
Fascinating.
And then that's how we fill the gaps of, the design stages and schematic design and elevations, and take it to construction, work with the architect. We have a select group of architects that we work with, and then we make it happen.
So interesting. I mean, it reminds me of like a show that you would see on HGTV.
Yeah.
I think you guys need a show.
Don't let people don't let that trick people into thinking it's easy, because it's not.
But the thing is, it never seems easy on those shows either, and it's just kind of fascinating to see a property gets completely transformed.
Yeah.
And like I had said, the beauty of it is we all know our strengths.
Yeah.
So a little bit as we grow,
Mm-hmm.
those strengths, keep going, and
Yeah.
that's great.
Oh, you can tell just by having a conversation with you, the rapport between the three of you. So it seems like there's so much kind of respect, but you mentioned like fun, like you guys
Yeah.
enjoy what you do, and that's
Right.
really evident in this
Huge.
conversation.
Right.
So what are some of the benefits of investing in real estate through an investment firm like RCG? It's not as easy as it looks on HGTV. That's one of the
definitely one
benefits.
of
Definitely not. Definitely not.
So investing in real estate, I feel like a lot of people want to do, but it can be very cost prohibitive, right? So they tend to only invest in their primary home, and that's about it. There's a lot of risk when you invest outside of your primary home, and like I said, there's a lot of capital that's involved. A typical redevelopment project, investment property, is going to require about 20 to 25% of the total amount of the house as a down payment. That doesn't include your renovation costs. It doesn't include your holding costs, which would be the mortgage that you're paying for the entire time of renovation, as well as the taxes, right? So a lot of people, either they don't have it or they're not willing to risk it. So that's when a company like this comes in. You say, I do want to do it, but I'm not willing to take the risk. So we're taking the risk for you, right? That's what we're doing. And we're making it as seamless and as easy as possible. So your risk is minimalized, and your initial investment doesn't need to be those large upfront costs when you're doing it yourself. You have a company that has the experience to get the job done, and we can do it in a shorter time frame while maximizing your profits. And we take the stress out of it. Anybody who's ever done a renovation project and had to either do it themselves or manage themselves knows how stressful it is. This is what we do every day. Let us do it.
I mean, what we hear from like a chamber perspective and people looking for, the service industry and all that, getting somebody to actually show up.
Yep.
Getting a quote, getting somebody to show up, and just like the cost of materials and all that, you have all of those relationships already.
Right. Yeah, and just like you said, like the materials, availability, lead times, knowing where to go to execute on schedule and timelines and time frames, and having the relationships with an electrician or a mason to say, or a roofer to say, hey, we need you here on site. This is our schedule. Things change, as we all know, but
also unforeseen problems. A lot of people who don't have a lot of experience, they may go in and all of a sudden have a foundation problem, have no idea how to handle that, and then either be in it for more cost or not know who to call. And that's all stuff that we've already tackled, right? We have those numbers in our back pocket. We don't get scared when we see it.
And their experience with real estate really helps. They know what to go in and look for, but they know what would give you the best bang for your buck. So what to tackle, what not to tackle, what would make the most sense. And so being an investor who would do this on my own, I don't have all that background knowledge. It's really nice to know that they're both on the team.
And I think just being able to listen to people, listen to clients, listen to design, listen to team members, understand the big picture, where we're going, all that's very important.
I know, like myself, so my father can like walk into a place or look at a foundation and picture what everything's going to look like in the space. And then he'll show me, I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at right now. I cannot picture that. So I think that in its own, it's like such a huge resource too.
I agree.
Thank you so much, Jill.
Sure.
So moving on to Sara, with your experience in marketing, promotion, and sales, how do you leverage your project management skills at RCG and complement the company's strengths?
I've been a project manager for other industries, so I'm really trying to translate that over to this industry that I'm really passionate about. I love real estate, but I really love computers and project management. So it's really been a lot of fun to meld the two. And while I'm learning a whole lot from other people, that's also really appealing and exciting for me as well. So I'm working on the online communication that we can work on
with investors.
Excellent.
So we can figure out ways in which the investors can stay on top of what we're doing. But we're working on how we can internally keep on our timeline and communication. I think that's just such a huge thing. We have a great rapport, as you said. But it's also great when we can all just know where we're all at every stage of the process, and how we're on target to reach where we're heading and where we've, anticipated that we're going to
Yeah.
end.
When you have so many balls in the air and everybody's going in so many different directions, like it's easy for something to get lost in translation. So to have somebody be like, this is the timeline, this is where we're at.
He has all
This
the technical
move.
know-how. She knows everything about the real estate, and I just like managing
Yeah.
the actual details themselves. That's what I enjoy.
Yeah.
That's my strength, and I think that's where we all kind of work off of each other, which is great.
And you mentioned kind of the internal communication, but also like your external, like all your marketing, you're doing such a great job. So if people follow Rennell Capital Group on social media, which will tag you when we post this podcast, you do such a great job just kind of showing the company and also like kind of the internal workings of the company. The people, all of that, which is huge because sometimes you look at somebody's social media and it's just so like,
Yeah, it's a big
Cut and dry.
and cut and dry.
it's a
and
big
not
deal
like that.
to make sure we're inclusive of everyone's hard work.
Yeah.
And everyone does their individual tasks per day, and it's important that people recognize.
Yeah, that's great.
I think it's
The company
important to
does that.
recognize that Eric is an amazing listener, right? Like
Yeah.
and I'm not just talking in a conversation, like if you have input, he's not shut off to any of it. And that's from the investor perspective right down to an employee perspective. Like he is open to hearing everybody's ideas, what they think, where they think improvement needs to be made, and he's receptive to all of it.
I might not agree all the time.
No, he doesn't have to agree all the time, but he is receptive to it.
Yeah.
You never feel like you can't approach him, is
Yeah.
what it comes down to. And that's very, very important.
Thank you.
You're
Well,
welcome.
for anybody listening or watching that, it could be a potential investor. I'm sure that's really
It's extremely
huge.
important,
Yeah,
yeah.
to hear that. So I noticed that you recently sold a property in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. You're starting a new one in Woburn, Massachusetts. Do you find that the skills and strategies you use are consistent across all projects, or do they change significantly based on the circumstances, the challenges of each job?
That's a tough question.
No two jobs are alike, I'm sure.
They're two very different. The most recent one we've had was Portsmouth up in New Hampshire. It was an 1840s house. It was
I saw pictures. I
he
love
ran it
watching
as
the
an
progress of
Airbnb
that.
for a while and then decided to sell it. We were able to really work on the improvement projects that needed to happen. That was basically what I focused on, was just keeping that timeline going and organized in our internal
Sarah's design was
communication,
amazing.
and staged it
Amazing.
to sell. And she
Yeah.
sold
You
it
staged
very
it?
quickly.
Yeah.
3 days.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
Staging
fun.
is extremely
Yeah.
important too. Like with Sara, she has to know who the target
Right.
audience is for it.
Yeah,
right?
to
And
get the most
cater
money,
towards
yeah.
that.
Yeah. So I had a neighbor walk up to me and say, "Are you going to make it look coastal? Because I think that's really what it would go for." And I'm like, "You should come in and look," because I actually did coastal. Because that was actually the look that we were going for. So it was very fun to
Portsmouth, New
stage that.
Hampshire,
That was
like
a great
such
location.
a cool
Stunning.
place. Yeah.
Very cool location. So the Woburn one is different because it's a small house that we're making fit for. It's going to be bigger.
Oh,
It's going to be
awesome.
something that it's going to be more modern. That's going to be really fun to
Yeah.
stage. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be a different approach to it, just
Yeah.
because it's not an existing house. It's going to be a real construction project that we're going to manage the details of and keep investors aware of what's going on, and it's going to be really, really fun.
Yeah, that sounds so fun. It's almost like you're shaping and raising a child and then letting it off on its
Letting
way,
it go,
right? You're
letting
seeing it.
somebody
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
that child.
in these projects, because we know that we're doing construction and we know that that can be very disruptive to neighborhoods, we are very proactive with the neighborhood too. We let them know. We send stuff out. We're like, hey, if you see a problem, let us know. We
Yeah,
don't
that's
we don't
great.
want you to be unhappy. We want you to be happy. We're improving your neighborhood, or
Yeah.
we feel it's an improvement to your
Adding
neighborhood.
value. Yeah.
We're adding value to your neighborhood. But
Yeah.
if something's going on and you're not liking it, construction starting at 6 instead of 7:30, let us know.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
All right, so Eric,
Yep.
another one for you.
All right.
What do you think the current state of the real estate market is like, and where do you think it will be 5 to 10 years from now? Well, that's such a loaded question. I mean, because you think
question.
about like the past 5 years,
Yeah.
who could have ever
Yeah,
imagined,
where's your
right?
crystal ball?
Yeah.
I know.
So I do think the market is still very hot
Yeah.
right now. I think now that the interest rates have dropped
Slightly, yep.
slightly,
Mhm.
we are still seeing bidding wars out there. We're seeing a lot of off-market deals going down,
Yeah.
which Jill is a Jill helps a lot with all the off-market stuff.
Yep.
So I think to answer the question about 5 years from now, I do think over the 100-year period of the U.S. economy, maybe 4 or 5 times the market's plateaued or been a little bit of a problem. But I do think there is a lot of strength left within this real estate industry. And I don't see it going away. And that's why, people that want to invest within Rennell Capital Group and make a larger return on their investment, I think that's the avenue. So, yeah.
Speaking to off-market properties as well, sometimes people do not want to sell on market, right? They don't want open houses. They don't want to deal with anything. So we're always open to anybody giving us a call. If you're interested in selling your house, we'll come in, we'll give you an offer for it, and we'll have it's a very amicable meeting. There's nothing. So we're always open to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's
a great point. Yeah.
So what would you say to potential investors who are looking to invest in real estate?
So I would say, I would say, keep your eyes and your heart open to new things. See what's out there. Get involved. Listen. Talk to us.
Yeah.
And see where it goes. I mean, we're set up. Our portfolio's diversified enough where, you can get in as an investor for X amount of dollars, and it's not that 20 to 30% of a down payment. It's low exposure. It's low risk.
It's a lot more exciting than just giving it to a financial advisor, I think, and seeing something on a piece of paper.
Yeah, you can see the progress and say, I have a piece of this.
You feel like you're part of it. You get to see it as it progresses, and it's kind of like you're watching HGTV.
Yeah.
And enjoying that.
Sure.
But it's local. You can drive by. It's very exciting. I think it's a really awesome opportunity.
Yeah. So
you mentioned getting your heart, but I think that's an advantage of like somebody like Jill who's like, okay, no, this is what the paper says, right? This is the square footage, this is the location, all that. So
numbers don't lie.
Right. So sometimes you can get caught up. I bet you there are people that will invest for the first time and buy a property because
they love it.
And then it doesn't give them the return.
Like we checked out a property the other day and we walked through it. Saw the ins and outs of it. Looked like a really nice neighborhood. Layout didn't work.
Wasn't great. Lot size was fantastic.
And after calculated decision making, we decided that it wasn't a property that we were going to pursue.
Yeah.
So not every property is right.
Right.
And
But those are the smart decisions.
If you're a potential investor, like to hear that, because you
Right.
could have been like, well, you know what, let's take the risk. It's a great lot size, it's a good neighborhood, but if the house isn't gonna sell for what you want it to,
exactly. If you're not gonna get the return that you're looking for, then it's not worth it.
Yeah. So,
is there anything else you would like the viewers and listeners to know about Rennell Group? I think this could be a regular thing.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe next time we can talk about a property at the beginning and kind of
that'd be great. Yeah, and like you said, check us out on social media.
For sure.
Our website, I think, is going to be
we'll include that
posted.
as well.
So, we appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I think this was great.
It was really fun having you on, and I want to thank you for being a partner of the chamber as well. We really appreciate all of your support.
Yeah, thank you. Got a great program going on here, and
thank you.
You do a great job. So
thank you so much. And I am, like I said, going to be toting my I got a couple of other goodies too, which I'm not sharing with anybody else. Thank you all for being on. We'll have you on again anytime you want. So open invitation.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for tuning in to another awesome episode. I'm calling it awesome. I know it's my show, but I can do that. So an awesome episode because we had the folks at Rennell Capital Group here with us today, and we will be back again sometime soon. Thanks so much.